The lie of someday. Someday sounds hopeful, but it's usually avoidance dressed politely. Someday feels optimistic. It feels like you're being patient, not afraid. But someday has no cost attached to it. It doesn't challenge your comfort. It just keeps things unresolved enough to feel safe. And as we know, that's the main job of the brain, to make us feel safe, to be safe. So watch for that. We tell ourselves we're waiting for the right time, but the right time never introduces itself. Maybe I'm in the wrong location. Maybe I need to spend more time over here. That way, it will introduce itself. Maybe I need to be with the right group of friends. Then I'll be introduced. But the right time never seems to show up. There's no notification, no moment of certainty, no version of you that suddenly feels fully prepared. We want to feel prepared for someday. We oftentimes wait until we are fully prepared, but when are we ever fully prepared for someday? Most people don't start because they're ready. They start because they're tired of waiting. Someday helps us avoid the discomfort of starting badly. But starting badly is your opinion. Starting badly is starting. You can eventually reiterate and reiterate and reiterate, and eventually badly disappears. And you've started. Beginning means being awkward. It's like a little baby bird learning how to fly. It's awkward. It hasn't done it before, but it still has that internal drive to jump out of the nest and get on with it. It means not knowing the language yet. It's difficult sometimes when we are in our routine habits of life because we can go through it without actually having to think about it. We don't have awkward moments because we've done it so many times. We just go on to autopilot. It means seeing your limitations clearly. When you wait, it's easy to become delusional about your limitations. But when you start, there they are, staring back at you. And that's okay. Waiting lets us imagine a future version of ourselves who does it perfectly. Yeah, I got to do this perfectly. Then I'll get the reward. Starting forces us to meet the current one, the version of ourselves here and now, not the one that's winning in the future, but the awkward one that's struggling right now. We mistake preparation for progress, and that's something that I've had to pay a lot of attention to lately. I'm one of these guys that's got to get prepared. I try and do as much as I can. I need to look at other YouTube videos. I need to run this over my head. What about this scenario? What about that scenario? Preparation feels safe because it keeps outcomes hypothetical. Yeah, I can do this, then I can do that. What if that happens? Then I'll go back and do this. Yeah, I need to prepare just a little bit more. I need to read over the instruction manuals in IKEA one more time. I've tried to get in the habit of opening up the IKEA box and starting in on it and figuring it out as it goes. You can research forever without risking anything. It's the risk reward. When you wait, there's no risking. There's just a lot of waiting. Progress, on the other hand, leaves evidence. It shows you were where you were and where you actually are, not where you hoped you'd be. Fear loves the word later. Later, later, later turns into later, and then later, and that turns back into later. Fear doesn't usually say, don't. It says, in a comforting voice, not yet. Give it a little bit of time. Take the time to do a little bit more research. Spend a bit more time getting prepared. It speaks in a reasonable tone. It makes waiting feel wise. I'm not going to jump right in. I'm going to test the waters. But sometimes you got to jump right in. And because it's subtle, we rarely notice it's in charge. I definitely have that. What's in charge of me is that subtlety. But now I'm kind of waking up to it and paying attention because I'm quieting down. I'm giving it space to breathe. Most things don't become less scary with time. They just become heavier. You're walking around. You don't have that bounce in your step. You feel like you're carrying weights around. Am I walking around with 3 bags of sugar on my shoulder? The longer you carry something unstarted, the more meaning it collects. It's not just necessarily collecting dust. It's building up. Even if it's not in the forefront of our brains, it'll come visit us in our dreams. It stops being just an idea. It becomes a test. And tests feel harder to approach than experiments. Small action now is usually safer than big action later. Small actions keep things light. They don't threaten your identity. I'm not really committed to it. I'm just testing the waters. I don't really want to change things around. I'm sort of happy with the way things are going. Big delayed moves feel heavier because they've been carrying expectation for too long. I have this issue where I expect it to be the best, to do the best right out of the gate. I mean, I've been preparing for ages on this. But my new thought is to jump in, and I can make variations, I can make changes, I can reiterate as I go along. I can pick up ideas and data points from what I'm trying to do rather than just leaving it in my head rolling around and around and around. Starting small keeps curiosity alive instead of turning it into pressure. And curiosity is awesome. Regret is quieter than fear at first, but louder over time. Regret is quieter than fear at first, but louder over time. Fear is immediate. It's dramatic. It demands attention. Bells and whistles are going off in your head. Heavy breathing, sweating, denying yourself who you are. Thoughts, ideas, feelings rolling around and around on repeat in your head. Regret waits. It shows up in quiet moments, and it asks gentler questions that are harder to dismiss. You don't need confidence to start. You need willingness. Confidence usually follows action. It rarely precedes it. So move it forward. Jump in, one step in front of the other. Let that confidence build. You're doing it. You'll build it as you go along. It's like building a house. You show up to the job, you take the wood, the nails and the hammer, and you start. Day 2, a little more confidence. Day 3, more confidence. And you build confidence as you take action. Willingness just seems you're open to learning as you go, instead of insisting on certainty before you move. If you've been telling yourself someday, it doesn't mean you're lazy. It means you're human and cautious. Caution isn't the enemy. Staying paused forever is. You don't need to force a leap. You just need to stop calling waiting a plan. It's not a plan. It's waiting. 2 different words. Even one imperfect step breaks the spell. I'm Scott Stewart, and you're not crazy.